The following is a Castwave Studios production.
Cause you want that tasty treat. It's two fat guys eat.
Hello, and welcome to Two Fat Guys Eat. It's a show where we talk about the foods we love, but probably shouldn't be eating. I'm Brian Massey, and
I'm Colin.
I'm Sean.
love the enthusiasm, guys.
I'm so excited.
And I just can't hide it.
Pointer Sisters.
I've been listening to them a lot lately.
Oh, you have, huh?
I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it.
That's good.
That's a sign of madness in some states.
So I've heard. So here we are. God, 2 weeks since we got back. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks since we got back from our Canadian excursion.
Yes.
And I felt like a really appropriate topic of discussion for a show about food and the foods we enjoy would be what we enjoyed and how much we enjoyed it while we were in the Great White North.
Yeah, don't let the intro fool you. We actually are very excited to talk about stuff that we encountered in the Great White North.
You have no idea.
Canada, we love you, we miss you. It was such a great trip.
It was. And again, especially for you, because you missed out the first time we went.
Well, do you want to talk about that first?
Sure.
Do we want to give some pretext to this?
If you want to relive that,
Besides the fire, but that wasn't our fault.
No, that was not.
No.
Hashtag not our fault. We swear.
No. That happened while we were. That was happening while when we drove up.
Which, by the way, is hilarious. Well, it's not hilarious, but I kept hearing about there were all these fires, and then we're driving to Toronto and we see a fire on the way there. I'm like, is that what they're talking about? And no, that was just a building that was on fire.
Just some random building.
Just tangentially, completely unrelated to the shit that was happening that came down here. If you're on the East Coast, you know what I'm talking about. How we had that really bad smoke index in the air. We were in the reds and purples or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of recovering from that because I used to be a smoker and thanks Canada.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go up the first time that y'all went up to Toronto, and I did not have my passport yet.
Yeah.
Because there was some kind of scuttlebutt or some kind of, how do you do about my credentials weren't credentialing enough or something?
Yeah, it was basically, you were the last one to get your paperwork in, and by the time you got it in, they came back to you and they were like, oh, we need this, and this, and you didn't have enough time to get it to them.
Because something about, I needed more documentation, or because, what is it, the base that my, or the post that my dad was born on in Japan no longer exists. The address does not exist anymore. So it was just
something.
It was so stupid. They couldn't go back and reference it, and I was like, okay, well, how is that my problem?
Well,
how is that my fault?
So unfortunately, he missed out our first excursion to Clifton Hill / Toronto. And unfortunately, he then had to hear about how wonderful and joyous our trip was, and obviously that didn't help with his mood.
Yeah, and then after a year, he got to get all hyped for the next time we went.
Yeah.
So.
Which leads us into 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
So, first things first. Obviously, if you haven't been to Canada, it's a wonderful, magical place. We crossed in Niagara Falls, which is where I'm from originally. Mm-hmm. The American side, I should specify. Yes. But we crossed over and we visited Clifton Hill, which is a major tourist destination over there.
Can I say something real fast too, by the way?
Sure.
When you are on the American side of the falls, and this has to be deliberate, but you can't see any of that stuff from the American side.
Nope.
So when you cross over there and it's all of a sudden every fucking American boardwalk that you've ever been to, and it's this tourist trap, and there's all this crazy stuff that's Kafka-esque, and really, there's a Burger King with a Frankenstein jetting out of the second floor, and there's
Hershey's and
and
Ripley's Believe It or Not, and
come in and buy these T-shirts, buy two get one free, and
bunch of casinos, casinos
and head shops and all this, and I'm It felt like, honestly, it kind of felt like that barrier in like Black Panther where like they cross into it and all of a sudden there's Wakanda.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. It's like, oh, like, I see trees and I see oh my God, where did this all come from?
Yeah.
We were hiding it from you because you could not handle it.
Yeah. Well, so we get over to Clifton Hill, we park up, and we start walking around, and
Park up.
we took Brian over to the Niagara Speedway, which is the Mario Kart-esque go-kart track that's there.
Which I was gonna do that, and I even had my Mario cosplay with me, but then it was like $30, and I was like,
Yeah.
maybe next
Well,
time.
30 Canadian.
Still, I mean, okay, that's more like what? It's like 27?
22 American.
You know what? I should have done it, but
You should have.
We were in the car.
We can always go back.
We were in the car for so long, and I was like, I'm gonna have to
That
get into
is true.
I'm gonna have to get into a smaller car, and it's like,
Yeah, but you get to drive this car, though.
that is true.
Yeah.
It actually is really fun. It's just because Colin and I are so big, it's just like hard for us to get.
Oh, yeah. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But so we opted out of that, but we started walking around, and at that point, I think none of us had eaten at that point, or Sean had just eaten a little bit, but he hadn't.
I had some bruschetta at the brewery.
Yeah. So you went to, because you had come up the night before, and you had a bruschetta.
Yeah. Well, like I came in the day before, and so what I did is I went to Botanical Gardens, Erie, Buffalo Botanical Gardens, on the state side. Gorgeous. Just everything's really pretty over there.
Gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. And then I went to that whatchamacallit, the pier down there. I forgot what they call it.
Canal side.
Canal side.
Yep.
I went to Canal side, walked the boardwalk a bunch, and then I started walking in town, and I found Southern Tier Brewing. And I was like, I'm familiar with them.
Good beer.
Brian and I had a bunch of beer from them at Savor the last year that
That is true.
they had it.
Which I don't know if they're doing that again.
I'm glad at least you guys. I'm glad at least you guys could take advantage of it before it left. So
Oh man.
yeah, I know.
I know.
Savor's not happening anymore.
No.
According to their website.
Why? Like what? Why am I just learning this now on the pod? I'm so upset now.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh God! Breaking news. Oh, Brian is heartbroken. Okay.
Okay, Brian's gonna be depressing with the rest of the episode.
No, I'll be fine.
So anyway, I visited Southern Tier. They had this milk stout that they only serve there, and it was completely, utterly delicious. And then I had one of their like lighter seltzers, like a watermelon cucumber thing that was pretty good. And I had it with some bruschetta.
Does it compare to like a Lancaster milk stout? Like, what do you like it better or?
Yeah, it was better than Lancaster milk.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a more kind of creamier version of the one in Flying Dog, Costello something.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Calico's or I don't know.
I don't remember.
I thought for a second you were trying to say Caligula. I was like, oh man.
Caligula's way.
Don't lose your head. Yeah. So.
But so of course we pick him up from Southern Tier. He's talking about food, and we're like, God, we haven't eaten yet. We're hungry. So we decide to drive across the border to meet our other friend in Clifton Hill. We're like, okay, there's plenty of food there. It's a tourist trap. There's multiple.
It was cool how we ran into him.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, John.
John.
Like we were talking on the phone, and like next thing you know, it was kind of like a weird "Hey, where's Waldo" thing. I was like, "Holy shit, there he is!" And it was like fancy running into you here.
Yeah, it was funny.
So it was cool.
He had a crazy trip. I mean, he got to the airport, then took a train, then took a bus all the way down to Clifton Hill, which is about like an hour and 40-something minutes away.
Only to then like
Get back in the car and
drive up with us, and I'm like, "Why did you do that?"
I mean, you know what?
Like, I don't know. Like
he wanted to meet us there, and it makes sense. But
honestly, if I was him, like, I'm not saying that like I wouldn't want to like meet up with y'all too if I was in his shoes, but like if I was him and I had a little bit of time to myself, I'd be hitting up that strip and going to the bar.
Yeah, sure, that makes sense.
You know.
So we get to Clifton Hill, we unload, we look at the racetrack, decide not to do it, and then we're like, fuck, let's go get some food because we're hungry. We hungry.
Oh yeah.
So we walk around and we revisit our little hangout in Clifton Hill from our first run. Mm-hmm. Now, for those of you, I don't know if we've mentioned this on any other podcast, when we first went to Clifton Hill, the first year we went specifically to Clifton Hill because you wanted Cuban cigars, which are legal to purchase in Canada. So we went. You bought a Cuban cigar, and then as we exited the cigar shop, we looked immediately to our left across the street, and across the street there was, no joke, a dispensary, a burger joint, and a candy shop, all within the same block.
And another burger joint.
Oh yeah, 2 burger joints and a candy shop, all within the same block. And technically speaking, I think there was actually another dispensary.
Yeah.
So
It's beautiful.
it was delightful. It was.
The American dream lives on in Canada.
Yeah, exactly. So we decided, oh, okay, we'll hit the dispensary up, we'll get our stuff, and then we'll go eat. We're right there. Well, unfortunately, the dispensary was being remodeled, so
Yeah.
we ended up not being able to go to that one. Although we then later went to another outlet, which was only like 20-something minutes away, so no biggie. So then we went to the first stop on our restaurant whirlwind tour of Canada, or at least of Ontario. We stopped at The Works Burger Place in
That's what it was called, yeah.
Clifton Hill, and holy shit,
Yeah.
I would say it's definitely probably in my top 5 burgers of like all time.
And this is going to sound really kind of like, oh, it was your first trip out of the States. That's really cute. But like, it was just really interesting, like reading some of the like advertising material. Like, you know how they have stuff on like the table or whatnot?
Yep.
And how they're saying it's like 100% Canadian beef and all this stuff. And I'm like reading this and I'm like, oh, it's kind of like how we would say American back home, but like they're just selling Canada because obviously why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And
Sean's showing us a picture right now of the
poutine.
the poutine. I mean, all right. First of all, thing I want to.
Oh my god! This poutine was
incredible,
insanely good. It was like it had this really good. I forget what kind of sauce it was, but it was like
garlic aioli.
It was a garlic aioli.
Okay, it was a garlic aioli. You had your cheese curds.
Well, it's like first you had fries, then you had gravy,
yes.
then you had cheese curds, and I'm not talking like little bits of like mozzarella cheese. I'm talking like
little bits of squeak.
Little bit of the squeak, right?
Yeah.
Then on top of that, bacon, and I'm not talking like floppy bacon. I'm talking like well done, chopped up.
Strip bacon, by the way.
Yes.
Not Canadian bacon, strip bacon.
Strip bacon.
Because they got the memo.
Then potato straws, which I was like...
Very good.
What?
There was a point here where I got everything commingled onto one bite.
Oh,
and it was
so good.
It was the perfect fucking bite.
And they served it...
You need to send that to me, by the way.
We have the photos. So
this should be the title of this episode.
Yeah,
the title card of this episode.
Hashtag millennial blessing.
If you can put like halos over us too.
I also want to give a shout out to them because it's the only restaurant I've ever been to where I've been served a non-alcoholic beverage in a fucking mixing cup.
No, it was a measuring cup.
It's a measuring cup, yeah.
Yeah. And it was
I said mixing cup, measuring cup. I meant.
Yeah. And it was
and
like a Pyrex.
Yeah, it was a Pyrex, and I had an Arnold Palmer because I was the one driving. So I was like, no beer for me, but everybody else got beers. And
as you do in Canada.
As you do. But I mean, we all knocked off. Yeah, we all knocked off. Like we ordered like one set of what do you call it? We ordered one order of poutine, and that poutine came in like literally a bucket the size. Like, you know when you go to a bar and you're like, I'll have a round of beers for the table, and they bring you a bucket filled with ice and like 6 or 7 beers, right?
Yeah.
This was essentially, they served us that poutine in that size of a bucket. And it was
nuts.
It was nuts. And we murdered it in like, 5-6 minutes? It was so good.
And there's the regular poutine.
Yeah. And then we all decide, okay, well, we're going to get like food. And we all determine what we each are going to get. I remember like I did like a smokehouse burger. Oh, so good. I mean, it was cheddar, it was well done bacon. It was, their version of like Big Mac sauce, or maybe it was a garlic aioli. I don't. It was definitely a great sauce. It was like a perfect burger sauce. Yeah. Oh,
That was
it's so good, so good. And Sean, you got elk,
Yeah.
which I was like,
Yeah, I got the elk
you
burger.
got the elk burger, and I was like, that's an interesting pull. What?
Actually, this is mine.
Yeah, that's
the elk
yours.
bur-
Yeah,
the
that's
elk-
yours because I had onion rings.
That's
on
the
mine.
elk burger in there.
Yeah.
So that one had crispy fried onion rings, the elk burger,
also
crispy bacon, and it had lettuce, tomato, onion, and the that garlic aioli that they had over the poutine, but like drizzled over all the toppings.
Oh, yeah.
And what's cool is that they did the same thing that McDonald's did back in the day, where the hot stays hot and the cold stays cold. They put the bun and the lettuce like separately.
Yeah,
and
so that your food it doesn't wilt on you.
Yeah,
You get it at its peak. Which, hey, restaurants in America, wise the fuck up and do this.
Yeah. So,
What'd you end up getting?
So I wound up getting the Obi-Wan Kobe's Man Cave burger.
Oh, Jesus.
And-
That's a great name, by the
And
way.
so it has caramelized onions, bold barbecue sauce, Monterey Jack.
Get a little Monterey Jack over
get
here.
it, get it out your systems. All right. And it had bacon on it too, and it was really fucking delicious.
Yeah.
It was really, really good.
It was so
I'm
good.
sure it was Mr. Monterey Chick.
All right, that's enough.
All right, but I got a choose your own burger, and I got a basic. I got 100% burger beef. I got
Cheese.
well done bacon, cheddar.
Yeah.
What was it? I think there was a burger there that for half a second I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna get that. It was a poutine burger. They had a special name. It was like the Mountie or something like that.
Oh my God.
And it looked so good. And I was like, okay, but we're gonna share poutine. I know that's gonna happen at some point.
Yeah.
So I was like, because you could also get poutine as your side dish if you wanted it,
Yes.
right? But I was like, no, we already had poutine to share at this point. So I was like, I'm gonna get onion rings, and I'm so glad I did. Their onion rings were so fucking good. It was so good, and I remember eating it. By the end of it, you have that really full feeling, like, oh my God, if I shift the wrong way, I'm gonna totally barf, but in a good way.
Right, and you didn't feel like I always say.
I didn't feel bloated.
I didn't feel like I do if I overeat, say, at Golden Corral here, where I feel like a tranquilized bear.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's going down. After that, you felt full, but you walked a little bit and you felt fine.
Yeah.
yeah.
And we ended up doing that. We just walked around.
Didn't you notice everything we ate over there? Even if you ate a lot, you felt fine.
Yeah, you didn't feel like you were just like, oh God, oh, baby's coming.
Yeah, you didn't feel like you were giving birth to twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so that restaurant was amazing. I would recommend the Works, Clifton Hill. If you're ever in that area, go there. Their food's amazing. The service is impeccable. And it's ridiculously good quality food for not at all expensive. I think we paid $20 a person?
Yeah.
And that was for everything. For our drinks, the starters, and our meal. So it was
it was very well priced and
incredibly well priced.
And the staff was amazing. And
Yes.
Just a shout out to them. Thank you for taking such good care of us. And,
yeah, seriously.
I did love how our waitress was just like, yeah, you guys are Americans, aren't you? And we're like, how could you tell? And she was like,
Is it that obvious?
it's pretty obvious. I was like, ah.
Yeah, sorry, we suck.
The entire restaurant sunk a little bit lower when we sat down.
Yeah.
There's those fat asses.
I want the poutine.
Yeah.
I just walked from the parking lot and I'm famished.
God.
I'm so famished. I haven't eaten.
Yeah, no. Anyways.
So then we went to the candy shop, which is literally right next door.
Yes.
Yeah, Colin took us to the candy shop.
I, however, did not let you lick the lollipop.
No, because I didn't get the lollipop. I did get a music box, though.
Like, I mean, okay, and when you go in there, it's just like any candy store you see when you're a kid, like so many different items. But again, because, it's in Canada, they have imports from like all over, and like they have stuff from Germany, they have stuff from Japan, and and I again, this was your first time there.
Yeah.
And so, like, was there anything there that you saw that you were like, oh fuck, I gotta get me some of this?
Definitely, and this is speaking from like a diabetic point of view.
Yeah.
But definitely just seeing like, wow, they have other flavors of like the thing that got me was because like there were a lot of different candies that were really nice,
Sure.
and really cool looking, but like the fact that they still have like Baja Blast and Pitch Black available, like Mountain Dew, just year round, and the fact that we don't here in the States is a fucking war crime.
Yeah,
It's
and the thing is, they had a cooler version of it.
Yeah.
Because
they had multiple versions of Mountain Dew, and like even ones that I know we don't have here in the States.
Yeah, it
we
really,
don't have here in the States, and the fact that they were made with liquid sugar, not corn syrup.
It blew my mind. I was like, oh my god.
That was the other thing.
Are you telling me that they're getting so much better like flavors of Mountain Dew up here than us?
Is it me or the Coke tastes better up there?
Yes.
Okay, so first I want to go on record with this. So Brian and I, as we've stated in multiple previous episodes, we're diabetics. So obviously we have to keep a closer eye on our food intake because,
Blood sugar.
I mean,
blood sugar.
I went wouldn't even say I went overboard.
We didn't go overboard,
on the trip, but I definitely kind of like was like, all right, I'll have a sugar soda today, whatever.
Well, but here's the thing. So you drink an average can of Coke in the States, right? That's 60 grams of carbohydrates. That is...
Yeah.
And just for those of you who aren't aware, that is the allotted...
36 grams of sugar.
Yeah, that's just for clarity. That's 60 carbohydrates is the allotted amount you are allowed per meal, as per doctor's recommendations.
Yeah.
That's one can of Coke in America.
Gone.
Right. That's a meal for you, essentially. You get nothing else to eat. You can drink a Coke or nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing. So we went to Canada, and we were in this shop, and we were looking around, and I went and got my jelly beans, like I always do, because they had a ridiculous amount of jelly beans there.
They had a whole dispensary thing.
Oh, it was nuts. And, like, I got flavors that, you don't see anywhere else. Like, what did I get? I got sour apple, I got buttered popcorn, I got coconut, I got ginger ale, which I hadn't seen before. Mm-hmm. And by the way, they taste exactly like ginger ale.
Nice.
Which is crazy.
The people at Jelly Belly are like...
They're nuts.
They must be fucking alchemists or something.
Yeah.
They are. It is this canon's every flavor bean from Harry Potter, but it's fruit.
It was legit. It was worth it.
They made a beer one, and it literally, I was like, oh, this straight up tastes like beer.
Yeah.
It was insane.
It was crazy. So I get my stuff, and I'm the first one done because obviously I know what's there, I know what I want, I buy it. I'm waiting at the front for everybody else to finish up, and while they're looking around, I'm looking at the drinks fridge at the front of the shop, and I see at the top they have two different types of glass bottled Coca-Cola. Now here in America, when you have a Coca-Cola that's made with sugar, not high fructose corn syrup.
It's a Mexican
It's
Coke.
called a Mexican Coke. But here's the thing. In Canada, they also strictly only use liquid sugar, not high fructose corn syrup.
Right.
So I, of course, see this. And I'm like looking around. I'm looking at different stuff. They've got like a bunch of different stuff in there. Like multiple Dr. Peppers, ginger ales. I think, what was it?
A maple flavored Coke.
That's what we got. It was Quebec maple flavored Coca-Cola. And
this is good.
I fucking look at that and I'm like, maple syrup flavored Coca-Cola. And I'm like trying to do the math in my head. I'm like, how does that fucking work? And I turn it over and I look at it because I'm like, okay, if I bought this and drank this, how screwed would I be? Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I look at it and it's half the carb count of a fucking Coke in the States.
Also, I think lower sugar count too.
Yeah. And I was like, that's fucking crazy. And I was just
How
like,
can it taste good?
right. So, of course, I was like, I showed this to the guys. I'm like, guys, look at this. Maple flavored Coca-Cola. And they were like, oh, we gotta fucking buy this. And it's so good. It's basically Mexican Coke, but just with a slight maple flavor. Like, it's not overpowering. They don't hit you over the head with it. but it's just enough for you to know it's there. And I love it. It was so good.
You know what that would go really good with?
What?
Bourbon.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh. There was another one there, and it was like it was like Quebec maple and then like British Columbia something or other. It was a fruit flavor, which I was bummed that I didn't get it, but
British Columbia elderberry or something.
Something like that. It was, but it sounded good, but I was just like, no, I'm gonna get the maple because I only had a limited amount of money to spend while we were there, and I was just like, I don't want to overdo it. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna get this. So, but like you guys got some sodas and some other candies. You and I think you and Rocky both bought those little music boxes.
They were fun. I got one in my car.
That's good.
I got It's a Wonderful World. Rocky got something else.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of other stuff. They had like a bunch of songs from the Beatles.
Yeah, there was. So you got that, like antique lunch boxes. John bought a fucking lunchbox, and it's cool as hell.
Yeah, it's the old Jurassic Park lunchbox.
Yeah. Oh, so cool. So we finished up in Clifton Hill, and we ended up hitting up this little hobby shop that the waitress at the Works told us about. Because
that was a real hole in the wall.
Yeah, it was nice, but I mean, it was mostly what do you call it? It was cards basically,
like sports memorabilia,
sports memorabilia, and Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
So I mean, not really what we were looking for, but you know what? It was nice enough for her to give us the option to check it out.
Yeah. So then after that.
So then we go to the dispensary. We would
have went to the one that we went to last year.
Yes, but they were remodeling.
They were remodeling.
They were remodeling, but the people who were there were nice enough to tell us, "Oh, there's an outlet only a few miles away. If you go there, you should be able to get your needs met." So, of course, we go, and we're looking around, and obviously, I had my eye on. For those of you who are unaware, in Canada, recreational marijuana is illegal, and again, I don't think there was a single block we were on where you weren't getting a whiff of weed.
It was beautiful.
It was great. Yeah.
And then like I found this like 90s water pipe.
Jesus Christ.
Like a Michael Douglas cell phone.
That's that's like literally the cell phone from fucking Wall Street.
But it's a bong.
I love it. So we went there and everybody was getting their stuff. The thing I was the most excited about was a product that I had been turned on to the first time we went was weed seltzers.
Yes.
Now I don't smoke anymore. I haven't smoked since 2004, and I really would rather not going forward. So I was just like, oh, I'll get some edibles. I tried the weed seltzer the last time, and it was great because like you drink it and it's in your system within the first.
Remember last time? I don't think. Have I told this story on the podcast?
You have not. Go ahead, tell it.
So last year we went to when we went to Toronto. Poor Brian stayed behind, but we went to Toys R Us, and I was kind of done. So like I already bought what I want for my nephew. So I like walked outside and I look over and like in the direct center of Toys R Us on the curb. Colin's sitting there Indian style, like looking out with this smirk on his face, like
I had not realized that.
Like you were just staring into space, like that expression of like this is fine.
Let me explain. Let me break the scenario down for you. So we're in Clifton Hill. We just purchased our stuff. Sean, luckily, the first time was driving, so I didn't have to worry about it. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to go ahead and crack one of my seltzers right now and drink it. So I do. And as we're driving along, I'm like, I don't feel anything. Because, of course, not having smoked or partaken of anything like that since, like, 2004, I had no frame of context of, hey, when's this going to hit?
When did it hit for you?
While we were in Toys R Us. So of course you gotta imagine that
fucking
for me.
Excellent.
You gotta imagine that for me. It's like I'm walking through a Toys R Us. I'm basically walking through my childhood.
Yeah.
And like I'm looking at action figures. They like at a Canadian Toys R Us they have like old reprints of action figures from back in the day. So like I remember I was looking at the old X-Men line of figures. Like, because I remember, like, I had these action figures. Like, there were also, like, remodels of the, what do you call it, the 90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line.
Dude.
There was a fucking Michelangelo surfboard variant. I had that exact fucking figure.
So did I.
Right.
And so, like, I'll even say I wasn't even schwasty when we went, but, like, just seeing, like, that line of, like obviously, I've mentioned before, like, I went in there with, like, okay, where's the Power Ranger line? And they had some Power Ranger stuff, but they didn't have, like, the modern stuff that I want. Or, like,
right.
No, we'll get to Toys R Us.
But,
okay.
like, but I'm just saying, just seeing all that turtle stuff.
Yeah, I know, right?
Blew my fuck. I was like, I can't believe. Like, it felt like it was like 1990 all over again. I was like, what the fuck? I'm in Toys R Us and I'm looking at all these Ninja Turtles.
I know, right? It's great.
So anyway, so you look at the X-Men, and then
I'm looking at it, and then I sort of lean forward, and then it's like, do you remember that scene in Super Troopers where, like, the guy's ear was wiggling, and then you hear the children laughing in the background? It was basically that. So I like slowly get back up to my feet. I'm like, hey guys, I'm kind of tired of looking around. I'm just gonna go out front. Y'all like,
yeah,
okay.
I heard you. I was like, yeah, that's fine.
All right. So then I go outside and I sit on like of course this is incredibly uncomfortable for me because I'm fucking fat. But I'm sitting on the lip of this building. Like there's the building and then there's like that little lip, like
and then
nothing.
There's the curb.
And then there's the curb, right? So I just, instead of sitting on the curb, I'm gonna sit on the lip of this building. I'm just like, and then for some reason I'm just like, my knees are just like, I'm just like, oh, my knees. I start feeling my knee, like I start rubbing circles on my knees, and I'm
that's
like,
what you were doing when I walked out.
That's exactly what I was doing when you walked out.
And then I walked out, and I was like constant rubbing his knees, and he's just looking out like this plain, this is fine meme expression, and then I look over to him, and I was like, hey buddy, how you doing? And then,
I just look up at him, I'm like, I can hear my hair growing.
And
I start laughing immediately.
He's like, oh no.
I think it was what you and Rocky were just.
No. So it was Sean and I, and then Rocky and our other friend came out later, and they went to Smoke and Jay on the other side of the parking lot, so they wouldn't get fucking hassled about it.
Yeah.
Which, good for them. So Sean's like, hey buddy, how about we go over to the car?
Because you're sitting right in direct sunlight, and I'm like,
which is not good for me because I'm a fucking ginger.
I'm like, ginger and sun equals burn.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, let's go in the car.
I'm like, okay. So we get in there, and I start fucking giggling like a schoolgirl because I'm fucking high as shit at this point. And I'm just like, Sean, my eyes are in my earlobes.
I couldn't stop laughing. It was so fucking funny.
Which, of course, only made me want to make him laugh more. So it's this recursive loop of me.
Yeah.
And then you start going on some weird tangents where we're just like, it's not real, man. It's just through the ether. You know, just like start, like, whatever you think.
I think my favorite line that I can remember was, like, I said something about, I won't hear any of your slander, sir, even if it's honeyed and maple syrupy. And then I turned to Sean, and I'm like, Sean, the taste you can see. And of course, I pull my ears out because I think my eyes are in my earlobes. So
Christ.
Right. So yeah.
So that was that. So now Colin's like, all right, we're gonna give a few weed toasters. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, so I now use because I now use what do you call it? I now use edibles, but I use them for my lower back because my back's all fucked up.
Yeah.
So I use it for that. Now I just take one whenever. So my tolerance is far better.
Into couch.
Yeah, into couch. So this time, we
not 18.
Yeah. So this time we go to Toys R Us. We drive, and also Toronto traffic is fucking nuts. Like
I mean, you didn't run into Mr. Beep Beep Man this year, but you
no.
may as well have.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. But you know what? It was fine. We got there, checked into our Airbnb. Fucking shout out to the guy at our Airbnb. That place is fucking nice.
Really nice. And should we discuss what we ended up buying for ourselves once we
I'll tell you what it was. So I'll tell you what. So
I want bathroom.
Yeah, I want to talk about.
Oh yes.
So the bathroom at our Airbnb had a bidet.
Yes.
And we were all very excited about it once we found out. Unfortunately, I couldn't figure it out until day 2.
Yeah.
So once I figured it out, I was like, "Hey,
I'm like, hey, how you doing?
I think
Good morning.
hello."
I think I was the first one to really kind of figure it out and go like, oh yeah.
Oh,
That's nice. And then I explained it to Sean, who then explained it to Colin.
Yeah.
And it was like, we all just kind of were like, and like, yeah, it kind of got to a point where it's like, I can't go back. Like I was in the bathroom this morning, like at work, and I was like, I can't go back. I can't go back to fucking toilet paper, man. I just can't. It's like, it's
To just toilet paper.
it
Yeah.
just
Because you still use toilet paper, but it's just to dry off.
Yeah.
it changes your fucking life.
Yes, which
really does.
you never thought you'd hear yourself say.
Yeah.
But there it is.
But our Airbnb was really freaking cool. We were in a really cool part of downtown with tons of food.
Ossington Strip is fucking amazing.
Tons of food. There was a ramen shop literally within walking
That
distance.
ramen shop was the tits.
Next to a bodega that had all these like.
Okay, so yeah, we're
Oh,
gonna,
yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
get to
my
all
God,
this.
like, we're
We're gonna get to it. So
But the coolest thing about that too, by the way, that thing, and I didn't realize this until like the night before we were leaving, because I kind of was like mentally going like, well, where are we technically in Toronto? So we saw like in our backyard there were like all these houses and like all these shops and like the backs of stuff, and it just looked really cool. It looked like something out of a video game. I fucking loved it. And I was like, I want to explore all that, and I never got to. But then like we have this like we're on this like fire escape kind of porch thing where we go out there and we can like smoke and talk or whatever if you want to. And I was like, wait a minute, because I thought about it spatially where the fuck we were, and I went up that like there was another stairwell that you could go up, and then you could see like past the roof. And I was like, I wonder, because we had gone to CN Tower. We'll talk about that later. But we went to CN Tower, and I was like, we came back, and I was like, wait a minute. And so I climb up that thing, and sure enough, it's blocked by our view if we're down there. But if you climb up, you can see the CN Tower in the back there. And it was just this phenomenal view, and it was just juxtaposed by me feeling like I'm going to fall down this fucking thing because these stairs were so steep. But it was the coolest view, and like you could just smell all this food cooking and like hear people walk in. And it was just like... I don't know. I was transported somewhere completely different.
yeah, I know, it's crazy.
I loved it.
So we get into the Airbnb, and again, we got stuck in traffic for like a sizable amount of time, like at least an hour, just trying to get into the city.
We sat down. I just put on Jurassic Park, and we're like, all right, let's chill.
Yeah, and so because we thought, oh, maybe we'll go see CN Tower tonight when I think we all came to the consensus like, let's fucking get high, take an Uber over to CN Tower, and fucking go up at night and watch the city while we're baked.
That's what I was saying.
I was like, we were all like, fuck, that sounds like a good idea. And then, like, I think by the time we actually got there and were settled in and everything, we were just like, you know what? I think we can do that tomorrow. Let's do that tomorrow. So we're sitting in the apartment, we're watching Jurassic Park, and we start getting hungry again. Because again, most of us had only eaten at the Works. We hadn't had anything else all day. So then we were like, okay, well, where are we going to go? Because like by the time we had decided, oh, let's go eat, all the places on Ossington Strip were pretty much closed.
Yeah.
And so we were like, oh, shit, where are we going to eat now? So luckily, there was one pizza that was still open. And did you guys walk and go get it, or did they deliver it?
They walked to go get it. Me and you stayed at the apartment.
Yeah, so our friends went, bought pizza, brought it back. And again, pizza, I can't stress this enough. Pizza is like, I would say it's like the aesthetic of Little Caesars.
Yeah.
An old school Pizza Hut, but their food is like old school Pizza Hut, but good.
Like really good.
Like really good. Like genuinely, I don't know how you can make
the pizza is just the right kind of crispy. Like the cheese is the right kind of gooey. Like there's not too much sauce. Like it but not like too little sauce.
It checks all those boxes. And
the
again,
pepperoni was like a little bit spicy. You know, it was a perfect kind of dorm /
it's the perfect cheap pizza.
It's a perfect cheap pizza.
Yeah. Which again, I don't want to specify that like cheap as in quality. No, it's cheap as in price.
Right.
Not at all expensive, and we tore that pizza apart.
It was so good.
It was so
really
good.
And again, like was said earlier, yeah, it was like Little Caesars to the point where like the boxes were even orange.
But I didn't feel sick after having it.
Yeah.
No, but
I'm
that's
still
the thing.
freaking out about that.
And honestly,
and it's pizza, and it was like, with this kind of like chain, you think I would have like, some
kind of indigestion.
You know how you do after you have Little Caesars, you don't feel kind of right. You got like that ping in your stomach.
Yep.
Yeah, like.
It felt like an alternate universe where like we were doing BGN back in the day, and like we would get like Little Caesars, but like this could have been us if like we had been Canadian or something.
Yeah,
sure.
It was cool. It just like
it was so worth it. And again, I'm bummed that we didn't get to go to CN Tower that night, but it was worth it for fucking pizza.
And then there was within walking distance there was a Tim Hortons, and you better believe that that walk got walked plenty of times.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we then
I walked over there in the morning.
Yeah, the following morning we went there. We had breakfast,
and I feel like it's funny because I feel like a lot of people like you would think that like that restaurant in like Canada, like people would like I don't know. It feels kind of like the like how am I trying to phrase this? It feels like it has the potential where like, oh well, yeah, everybody talks about it in America because it's this really cool Canadian thing, but like the Canadians are over it. But no, they fucking love it too,
because it's
like,
fucking great.
And like that's the place, yeah, and like yeah, I think there's still Starbucks there too, and of course people are gonna go there. But like I saw people with like Tim's cards and whatnot going in there, and like, there were lines and shit, and I was like, okay, yeah, Tim Hortons is like. Definitely got it's popular for a reason.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So if you listen to our previous episodes, we've gushed on we've had an entire episode dedicated to fucking Tim Hortons Timbits and just how much we love Tim Hortons.
My go-to coffee cup is a Tim Hortons cup. Yeah,
but here's the thing I want to specify here: Canadian Tim Hortons somehow is even better than American Tim Hortons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, there are items there that you can't get stateside.
Yeah.
Now, inversely, same thing falls. There are certain items in America that you can't get over there. Like, for instance, on the American side, I get a frozen hot chocolate at Tim Hortons America. They don't have it there. They have something that's similar enough. They call it a chocolate cooler, which I got. And it was, it was pretty close.
Yeah.
Not exactly the same, but, enough of a difference that I would say this isn't the same beverage, but I'm placated enough to enjoy it. But their donuts are better. They have fucking burrito bowls there. I was like, when the fuck did they turn into Chipotle? And I was like, damn, they up in their lunch game. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had those wraps.
Yeah.
What McDonald's used to do with that snack wrap thing.
Yeah.
Where they had it in the cardboard thing and you can peel it. I was like, oh, it's so cool.
And by the way, they still have those in McDonald's Canada, which we didn't get to go to, unfortunately.
Well, now you got something to look forward to the next time we go.
Yeah.
But
it's like I was looking forward to that for sure.
I know. We'll get to it.
No, I had a breakfast wrap. It was good. I got the peel.
Well, I'm talking about like the McDonald's snack wraps, though.
Yeah, fuck McDonald's.
Okay, fair enough. All right, fine.
I had Tim Hortons. I had Tim Hortons. What do I need McDonald's for?
Oh, I had McDonald's for.
Okay.
We got Tim's.
But yeah, so we went to. So then the following day, we hit up a bodega. We hit up the bodega.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So
a couple of bodegas actually, but
the one directly across the street. So we get this. No, did we get ramen first?
We got ramen first.
So we got ramen first. Oh my gosh, this ramen! I took a picture of it. I don't know if we're if you want I don't know if you're gonna post these on Two Fat Guys Eat.
I think I'm gonna have to at this point.
Yeah, I'll send them to you.
So many visual references, but I don't care.
I had this. Oh god, I can't even remember what it was, but it was like this pork back.
The what?
This is like this pork back, and it was like it was like the not the it wasn't the soy sauce flavored like broth, but it was the forget what the other one is.
Miso broth?
It was miso, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And it was really good. How did I fuck that up? But
I don't know.
I'm the weeb here. But
yeah, I was gonna say.
I had the salaryman.
and
it had a soy sauce soaked egg.
Yes.
It had
Mine had that too.
I had chicken. And they had this like I'm not sure what they were, but they were like really good, and like all this like vegetable shit on top. and the broth was so fucking good. And then I got this this drink called Sapsucker, and it was it was made out of maple water.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was tree water.
Yeah.
It was maple tree water, like the stuff that comes out, and like they used that and they carbonated that, and they put like lime in it, and it was delicious, and it was like refreshing with that bowl of ramen. So anyway, we had our ramen, which was fucking amazing. I mean, go down there if you get a chance.
Yeah.
And then we went to the bodega, and this place it was like. I don't know how else to describe it. Like it is a bodega, but it looked cleaner than like a normal.
It was like a high end like import export bodega that had all these really awesome snacks. We got these 2 flavors of like Lay's chips. You got the
Beef Wellington.
Beef Wellington. I got the takoyaki made by Lay's. Both of them were fucking phenomenal.
We brought them back to Colin to taste.
I will on God. I will say this. Having had Beef Wellington and having tried these chips, this chip tastes exactly like Beef Wellington. It's crazy.
It was insane. And then
it was kind of creepy how it was like it was exactly like it.
They're in bed with Jelly Belly.
Yeah. They're in bed with Jelly Belly. They're the savory Jelly Belly. Savory version. Japanese Lay's. But I was like,
so
this is so good.
And you guys haven't tried takoyaki yet, have you?
But it was good.
I've had it.
You haven't had it. You have.
I've had it. I'm not huge on octopus.
Well, I personally love takoyaki. You haven't had it yet. We'll have to do that on the show sometime.
Yeah.
I'll have to get you some takoyaki.
There you go.
And like I think try and find a place that has like okonomiyaki as well, because I would love to do that.
But
these chips
equally
tasted
good,
just
though.
like takoyaki.
Yeah. No, it was equally good.
It's so good.
I mean, again, I wouldn't personally seek those out because again, I'm not a fan of octopus.
And then they have the Pokemon drinks.
Yeah, the Pokemon drinks.
I mean, they had like 2 different kind of Pikachu ones.
Yeah,
I had Jigglypuff.
I had Mew.
He had Mew. There was
a
strawberry Charizard
cream
one,
and then they had Ultraman too. They had some Ultraman drinks, and I was like, "That's so cool!" And like, I straight up like saved the cans, and I have them like on my Tokusatsu shelf. Like,
oh, well, of course you do.
Yeah,
like, I saved them because I think it was like Ultraman Tiga and I can't remember who else, but like it was just like the coolest thing. I was like, "Oh my god, there's Ultraman stuff here, and it's right across the street."
Yeah,
it was so cool. I was like, "Oh my god, cool!" Now I need is like some Kamen Rider stuff, and I'll be happy. And like, I even had a conversation.
Yeah. So then
with the people at the register where they were talking about Kamen Rider with me, and I was like, "What is happening?"
Oh, for some reason, I don't know why, the pizza was good in front of CN Tower.
Oh, we're gonna get there, my friend.
Oh,
okay. So here's the crazy thing. So
that dude was so cool, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the coolest.
Yeah,
he was the coolest guy.
All right, so I'll get to that. So I
would have hung out with him.
So longer. So we get through the day on Saturday. We decide we go to CN Tower. Unfortunately, we didn't realize this before we went down there, but at CN Tower, you actually have to make reservations because they can only let a limited amount of people up at a given time. So we ended up not being able to go up on Saturday. So we were like, all right, that's no huge deal. That's fine. We'll just go another day. So we do. So we ended up going Sunday. So Saturday, the rest of the day, we decide we're gonna go to the what do you call it? So we're gonna go to Stormcrow Manor.
Oh yeah,
which is our favorite nerd-themed gastropub. And it's great. So we go down to that neighborhood, and I don't remember the name of the neighborhood. It's like Church something neighborhood.
Yeah. It's
the gayborhood in Toronto.
Yeah.
And first of all, fucking amazing place. Like, people are friendly, weed everywhere.
Streets are clean.
Bar scene is fucking on point.
Yeah.
There's at least 8 or 9 bars within
around Stormcrow?
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically the gay district too. And
exactly.
And Pride Month was starting up soon. And
yeah.
It was really cool.
Like, we literally went the weekend before Pride Month started.
Yeah.
So it was great. We went to a gay bar. We had a drink with our friends. Yeah. We had a drink with our friends. Then we walked over to Stormcrow. Yeah. We got dinner, and obviously we got our poutine game on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody got like a fancy drink. I got butterbeer, just because I remember enjoying it so much the first time. What did you end up getting?
I got
You got the Jedi IPA.
Jedi Justice. It was I have the picture of it.
You have the Jedi IPA. What did you end up getting? You got something specific.
I can't fucking remember.
Maybe it wasn't. No, it wasn't you. You got a Jedi IPA as well.
Yes.
Rocky got the Princess Peach iced tea.
Yes.
Yeah. So it says Justice, Equity, Diversity, Inclusion Jedi IPA.
Nice.
So that's the one I got. And your butterbeer looked like fucking.
It was
phenomenal.
fucking great.
Yeah.
It's a boozy butterbeer, baby.
The bathrooms in that place on like the basement level are so cool because they look like retention cells or whatever. Oh.
I would also say that if you were ever if you go to Stormcrow Manor, first of all, if you're a nerd and you're ever in Toronto, Stormcrow Manor is a place you definitely have to go to.
Yeah.
I mean, and I hate this term because it's so overused, but it is indeed nerdvana.
Yeah.
Like, you can't find a better place to go eat a meal, but yet feel like you were completely enveloped. Like if you were a nerd and you wanted your own man cave, this restaurant is essentially that man cave.
Yes.
It's crazy awesome. And also, like, again, all the dishes are nerd themed. Like, I remember I did the D&D burger.
Yeah.
So basically, they give you a character sheet, and they're like, you roll the dice, you do your thing, and you get. Oh yeah, what'd you get?
Chicken sandwich.
Oh, was it good?
And with the side of poutine. Oh my god.
Yeah, good, huh?
It was so good.
Rocky ate so much poutine that weekend. I was almost concerned he was going to turn into poutine.
Well, I mean, again, because that's the thing. In America, you don't get it everywhere.
Yeah.
Who got that?
That was Rocky.
Okay.
That's the Princess Peach bourbon tea.
Oh, okay.
And I honestly almost went with that, but then I was like, nah, I'm going to get the butterbeer. That's fine.
There you go.
I will say that's the only thing I'm a little bit bummed about that you couldn't get in Toronto, that you couldn't get in Canada. I just wanted unsweetened iced tea. Can't get that. Everywhere was just like, oh yeah, it's sweet tea. We just, we make it with we just basically make it with a mix. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we got a picture of the Jedi.
That's right.
And
yeah.
And there was this cool kind of like octagonal picture.
Yeah.
We were about to get shots, and then I decided against it just because there was going to be 2 extras.
Yeah.
And like none of us felt like because we were so full.
Yeah. It was definitely one of those nights where I was just like, I don't really want to push it.
And we had kind of a ditzy waiter, but they were cool. They were cool, but they were so fucking silent.
Yeah, they were fucking busy.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, you got to make it a reservation to get in that place. And again, it was nice enough outside that I think like a larger proportion of the crowd wanted to eat on the patio.
Yeah, for the majority, like everything priced wise was decent.
Yeah.
For a place you have reservations, I was expecting a lot more,
Now, we should also specify that you'll look at the prices while you're there, but you'll be like, oh shit, that seems a little pricey. But then you also have to remember that the Canadian dollar is worth
75 cents.
Yeah, it's worth less. Yeah, it's worth less than the American
cents.
Yeah, it's worth less than the American dollar. So what's $15 there will actually only end up costing you like 11 here.
Yeah.
Essentially. So it's like you always have to sort of do that quick mental math. It's like, oh, all right, well, it's not. Then when you hear that, you're like, oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine. So
if you're an American and you're in Canada, your dollar stretches so much further.
Yeah.
It's insane. It blew my mind. I
agree. But yes, Stormcrow, the food's fantastic. The ambiance is what sells it.
Speaking of ambiance, I found this machine. I almost freaked the fuck out.
Yeah,
they have a Zoltar machine from Big.
I wish to be big.
Yes.
And you could actually use it. Like, they had a little place you put your card.
Yeah. Oh, so good. And so after that, we hit up a couple more bars. We hit up the Imperial, which I will go on record is my favorite bar of all time. Because it literally, that bar is like if you took a library and a 70s bar and sort of mushed them into one location.
I think I still have the photos of there.
Yeah. It's so good. And I think after that we ended up just going back and crashing at the
The Airbnb.
Crashing at the Airbnb for the rest of the night. And then the following day, we went to CN Tower, finally. Yeah. And then while we were at CN Tower, we got more pizza.
We were so tired.
Yeah. It was the end of the night. We were just tired. We were just like, we gotta get some. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that bar was
it's so great.
Yeah, and the bar in the background.
That was that honestly felt like the Great White North version of the Haven.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
It was nice though.
Yeah.
And like I ran that fucking pool table.
Yeah.
I ran that pool table.
Yeah. It's good. And it's definitely it was a good night. And then the following day we all get up, we go down to CN Tower, and we get there, and I want to specify, if you own a food truck, have a mobile payment method. Have cards. I get you got to pay a little bit extra, like you're losing money on the transaction fee, but at the same time, when you're one of those businesses that's just like, we can only accept cash, guess what? Like, maybe 1 in 5 people actually carry cash anymore.
You're gonna be losing out on customers.
Potential customers. I feel bad because like there was at least 3 or 4 food stands that we walked up to and we were like, we would like to purchase food from you, and they're like, okay, cash only. I'm like, sorry.
And like, and just to give you an idea of where we were at. Sorry,
at the base of the tower.
We're at the base of the tower, which was next to where the Blue Jays play.
Yep.
And it's this giant metropolitan downtown area. And I asked, hey, where's the nearest ATM around here? And it was like a mile, or I'm sorry, like a kilometer, fucking like in a direction I did not want to go.
Yeah.
And I had to go travel like past some train tracks or some bullshit.
Yeah.
And I was like, you mean to tell me there's not one just like around here, like I could just go to? And they're like, sorry, don't know what to tell you. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
I mean, again, you can't blame them for the layout of the building. I mean, I honestly would have thought there would have been an ATM like in the stadium that we were literally right next to. But I was like, oh, there wasn't a game going. So even if we wanted to, I don't think we could have even gotten in the building to fucking use it. So
right.
Not a huge deal, but at the same time, kind of a kick in the pants. So fine, whatever.
Yeah, so we went to the CN Tower. I was like, all right, let's at least be by the CN Tower registration and make sure. I'm like, because we already have tickets, so I'll buy the line just in case. And then we noticed the guy was.
So we get prepping. To there's a food stand that's like literally right by there, and it's themed to be like part of the CN Tower experience. So it's like right at the bottom. We didn't know what the guy was selling. We were just like, okay. He's there. It's open.
It looked like it was selling like chips and soda. And
we were just pretzels. Like, looks like they're accepting cards, so we'll go there, right? And we're like, hey, we want to buy food. Are you open? He's like, I mean, I will be in a few minutes. And I'm like, what are you guys selling? They're like, pizza. I'm like, we are on board.
You just said the magic word.
You don't know it, but you just said the magic words, my friend. So
do you think the Ninja Turtles would like pizza?
I could only hope. Yeah. I feel like they would have enjoyed it more than 80s Domino's pizza.
I mean
90s Domino's.
Dude,
pizza.
that's not even. That's not even
yeah, exactly.
Close.
But it was fresh.
It was
because we were there.
Fresh.
We were the first ones.
Yeah.
Right off the oven.
Yeah.
And oh my god.
Yeah.
It's some of the best pizza I've ever had. I was like, what the hell?
And again, like I said, like the dude was like he was a total dude. Like, and I know
he was a total bro.
Total bro. And I don't know, he was just really cool.
And he was
really
like,
nice.
and chipper, you know, like.
You know, he had a backwards hat on, and he was just kind of, just like going about his day, and it's like.
Brian's got his number.
Doing his thing.
No, it was just cool. I was like.
No, cool guy.
No, he was a cool dude.
It was cool.
So we get our pizza, and again, this was definitely one of those situations, more like the first time we went to Pizza, where the slices were so big, they literally cut them down the middle. And even when you cut them down the middle, the slices that they eventually became are essentially what we get as a normal slice in America.
Yeah.
But it's pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
One piece of
So, of course, again, not thinking that they're going to do this, I ordered 2 pieces, and I'm like... Yeah. So I open the box. I'm like, oh fuck, this is way bigger than I remember.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I think I'm only going to eat 1.
Yeah.
And then I give the other one to Rocky. I think I don't remember. But
and I ate both of mine.
Yeah.
Because I'm fat.
Well, aren't we all?
Yeah.
It was literally in the title of the show.
It was the title of the show. And then we
go up to CN Tower.
Yeah. Waited a long line.
We wait in many lines.
when we were. I'll have to send you the clip. We were waiting to go up, and the floors are going by, and then Colin out of nowhere goes, I guess it's a bad time to mention them. I have a fear of heights.
there's a video of Sean, because I have a massive fear of heights, and unfortunately you get in the elevator and it's like fucking windows everywhere, so you have no choice but to look out at what you're seeing, and you're just like, look, shit.
All I'm saying is this: like, as bad as your fear of heights might be, and I do also have, not when I'm in a tower like that, but like if I'm like, somewhere where I feel like I could fall, like whenever I hike like the Rocky Mountains or whatever, and I haven't done that in years, but like, I get that, but like you didn't have that like shaky leg syndrome or anything like that, or you weren't like pinned up against the wall. Like,
you have to understand, you didn't see me, mind you. I was like up against the thing. I was gripping the rail in that elevator so tightly.
Your knees weren't like shaking, were they? Or
I mean, I was
like,
I think if I had been
weak-kneed.
I think I had been closer to the windows, it might have been the case. Sure. I think luckily I was, again, there was at least...
You were a respectful distance away from the windows. You still were looking out of them, but you were respect. I mean, Brocky and John and I were all like my head.
Yeah, they were all looking. They were looking out the window.
I was trying to, but I got shoved to the back, and I was like, I want to see. And like Colin's just like, I'm good. I'm like,
actually, so the funny thing in the video, it's basically just me like holding on for dear life. Sean's like, how you doing, buddy? I'm like, I guess this is a bad time to mention I'm afraid of heights. And again, everyone starts laughing, and some rando guy is just like, that's why you're in the back. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good point.
Way to go. You put 2 and 2 together and got chair. Fantastic.
Yeah. So we got up there, and again, and also, like, kudos to them. They had it planned out, because there's multiple carts. I mean, not carts. There's multiple food stations up there where you can buy drinks and food if you want to sit up there.
We had a couple of beers.
Yeah, you guys had a couple beers. I don't think we ate any of their food, but it was like mostly like there's poutine. There was like,
and then
mostly
above that there's like a nice
like a nice restaurant. And you guys were like, let's go check that out. I was like, we have to have reservations. We can't go up there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go up there next year.
Hell yeah, man. I want to try that.
I would love that. And like, what's cool is like it's like a spinning hotel. It's like a spinning restaurant, and I would love to try that because I'll make this really fast. There's a similar tower. It's not nearly as tall, but there's a similar tower in San Antonio called the Tower of the Americas, and it's next to the Alamo Dome. And
trying to be like Canada.
Well, I don't know about all that, but tell that to the Space Needle. Actually,
I was gonna say they put their tall tower next to a sports venue, just like Toronto did.
Well, what are you gonna do? But yeah, my parents were like telling me about that like back then. I was like, that would be so cool to like sit down and like spin around the city and like. I don't think I'm ever going back to San Antonio, but I will probably be going back to Toronto. So I would love to check that out.
Yeah,
especially because the view in Toronto was.
So much nicer.
Fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like,
I think the way I commented on it was it's like as packed as it's as diverse and as packed as New York is, but whereas New York had to grow up because of the fact that they had such a limited space, Toronto grew out.
Yes.
And so it's just like it's just like fucking cityscape as far as the eye can see on one side, but then you go on the other side and it's coastline. You can barely make out the other side. You can barely make out the United States on the other side.
But you can see it, and that's the cool thing.
You can see it.
Like, oh, there's the States, and like we got to go all the way back over there eventually.
Yeah.
But like for me, because I'm trying to plan a trip eventually to like, Tokyo.
Sure.
It gave me a very good idea of what to expect from like a major metropolitan city like that that's also on a bay. Yeah. Because like you have like Yokohama Bay and all that, and like the city's just spread out as far and wide as you can see.
Spread out as fuck.
And it felt like, okay, wow, I'm really gonna have to plan that out. So like Toronto was very much like the testing ground for that. I was like, that's really awesome.
Yeah, to be fair, we did a lot of driving / Ubering. In future, I'd probably use the public transportation because they had cable cars, they had buses. We should have.
Ubering wasn't as expensive as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah,
because I added up everything with tip. I split it out between all of us, and it was only $12 a person for a day.
Yeah, and we did multiple Uber trips.
Yes.
Honorable mention, Bar Revar.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Bar Riva. Fucking
Bar Revar is one of the prettiest bars I've ever been in terms of wooden architecture. Like, really, really good, and just their menu was beautiful.
No, we'll definitely post all these photos on our Instagram.
I mean, like their menu was like awesome.
Yeah,
and their drinks are just gorgeous.
Yeah, it's great. I've never. It's like a hobbit hole as a bar. I think that's how you described it to me when you mentioned it.
Yeah, I mean it's got a hobbit hole-ish type of.
It's amazing. It's incredible.
I felt at home.
Yeah, it was, and the drinks were great. And then what was it? It was getting later in the evening, and I had to drive you back to the States because you had to fly out like super early the next morning.
5 a.m.
Ugh.
In Buffalo.
Yeah, your flight was out because you flew into Buffalo. Your flight was out from Buffalo.
So then we got Ted's.
Yeah, we got Ted's. Totally worth it. Oh,
you had to drive. Delicious.
You had to,
burger and a
you had to drive. You had to drive 3 hours round trip, and you said those hot dogs were worth it. Fuck yeah, they were worth it. So of course delicious. We drove. We got food. Then I drove back to Toronto that night because I had to get the rest of them to come back to the States the following day. And the day, I think the day we were leaving. Yeah, it comes the day we're leaving. Brian and Rocky and I get in the car. We start driving back, and they're like, "Hey, can we stop at a grocery store? I want to pick up some Kraft Dinner and some Heinz ketchup." Because again, we all noticed that they don't use high fructose corn syrup in their ketchup in Canada. They use liquid sugar, and it ends up being, believe it or not, healthier than it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what was it? The ingredients were like pureed tomato, water, vinegar, sugar. Yeah.
I would honestly, I think you can import from Canada, and I would totally do that.
Yeah.
I know that it's going to cost more, but I would totally import, if I could import my groceries from Canada, I think I would do it just because, they're just so much healthier, and they're not packed with sugar, and,
it's so good. But... So we stop, they get a couple boxes of Kraft Dinner. I grab a couple bags of chips. I get some all-dressed chips because all-dressed chips are delicious. And then the last place we stop on our way out of Canada, we get Kraft Dinner out of the grocery store, and then we stop at A&W. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, A&Ws, they're around in America, but they're nowhere near as big as they are in Canada.
No.
Now, here's the thing that bugs me. In America, they're usually a side add-on attraction.
So Long John Silver's.
You'll see it at a Long John Silver's, or you'll see it attached to a Taco Bell. It's not, there's not their own.
I will say that in Denver, they have a few standalone restaurants, but it's not common. It's not a common thing.
No. And that bothers me because we went to a standalone A&W in Canada, and I mean...
Well, there's a few things of note here. For starters, the logo is different.
Sure.
The logo, honestly, I think... I don't know.
Sleeker, newer.
It's sleeker, it's newer, it looks like it's forward-thinking. The weird thing is, it feels like the A&W logo here in the States is stuck in the past, but in Canada, because of the popularity of A&W, because I looked it up, it's one of the most popular fast food restaurants in Canada.
And when you eat there, you'll realize why.
They they were able to modernize it and hey, we're gonna do this to the logo, and we're gonna and it's just a vision of what never happened here in the States with A&W, because I guess A&W...
It's an alternate dimension.
It's an alternate dimension, because here in the States, it's A&W... I don't even think A&W is the most popular root beer brand. I think people like Barks more, or Mug, or whatever.
Yeah. Which is a shame, because A&W is far better than either of them.
I prefer A&W myself.
So what'd you guys get at A&W?
Okay, so there was a sort of a Western burger. It was basically burger, cheese... barbecue sauce, onion rings, less tomato. So good. The Ringer.
Really?
That's what it was called. And it was super good.
It was the promotional burger for the Toronto Blue Jays. There was like adverts up and all this
Totally
stuff.
worth it. Like, and again, it's like you hear that and you're like, if I got that at McDonald's, I'd probably be disappointed, right? Got it
More
from
ways than one, yeah.
Yeah, got it at A&W. Fucking great. I fucking down that motherfucker.
It was presented like a $6 burger. It was presented like it was wrapped up. It was like I don't know. It was like if Five Guys gave a shit anymore. It was like they wrapped it. It was like they wrapped it up so beautifully, and it was like in a box, and like it was presentable, so like you could hold on to it and like bite into it, and
it was presented like a $15 burger.
Yes, thank you. That terminology I think is out of date in today's currency, but like the $6 burger, but that's how it used to be. But it was a phenomenal burger, and
then that was great, but it gets even better because they had a jalapeno chicken sandwich or habanero chicken sandwich. That was good.
It was plenty spicy.
Plenty spicy. I would say probably not like the habanero we were expecting.
We're on the spicy scale. So you have hey how you doing? And he got ooh that's hot. And then you have that's too hot.
I'd say hey how you doing?
Yeah.
Like I would say probably spicier than anything you'll get here at a fast food restaurant. At a fast food restaurant, I'm saying.
I mean, are we counting Zaxby's for that?
And beyond that's too hot, it hurts in the back of my eyes.
Because for that right there, that ranking, that was that atomic sauce at Zaxby's that one night. That was the shit that had me
hurts in the back of the eyes.
Like which they don't sell anymore. So.
I had those like cold sweats and like my colon was on fire. And like my throat was
That's just weakness leaving your body, son.
Oh my god, like my hands.
You had that Saturn V afterburn.
My hands were hurting. That's how bad it was.
So nowhere near that bad. I would say
it was a happy medium.
I'd say it's between a jalapeno and
Did
a habanero.
anyone get a root beer?
Yeah, of course we got root beer. We went
how's
to an A&W.
how's the root beer up there?
Fucking great.
It's great.
Because again, mind you, we got diet root beers because we're diabetic. But here's the nuts thing, right? You go to an A&W, a standalone A&W restaurant, right? Like you go to one here, and you're getting your root beer in a paper cup, and you're sent along your way, right? Mm-hmm. A&W's in Canada, if you're gonna sit there in the restaurant, they'll fucking hand you a frosted mug to put your fucking root beer in.
Now you have to pay to take it home with you.
You have to pay
How much do you take home with you?
It's like $3.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and it's like a fucking like you could smash this over somebody's head and kill them. That's how
like
thick
one
of
of mine.
Yeah.
Like Rocky bought one.
Yeah.
And it's a solid mug. And like I said, they had like a whole industrial sized fridge full of these mugs frosting over, and you could see them as soon as you walk in. Like that's the one thing you see as soon as you walk in there. I'm like, why doesn't every fucking place do this? It makes sense.
There's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense.
It makes too much sense. That's why they don't do it.
There's so much stuff that doesn't make sense in the States.
All right, well, this has by far and away been our longest episode of Two Fat Guys Eat, and rightfully so. It was 4 days worth of fantastic food, fantastic experiences.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we've now come to the end of it because A&W was the last thing we hit on our way out of town. Unfortunately. But it gives us so many experiences to go back and re-enjoy the next time we go. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to get a little hungry.
Yeah.
So, I think we're going to cut this episode short, and I'll just say, for Brian, for Sean, and I'm Colin, and remember, you don't stop eating when you're full. You stop eating when you hate yourself.
Oh, Canada.
Two Fat Guys Eat is a Castwave Studios production. For other shows and more, please visit castwavestudios.com.